So, have you ever wondered how groundbreaking clinical research, the kind that really changes lives, actually gets selected, how it gets funded?
It's a great question.
Because it feels like such a high stakes decision,
Right.
right? And evaluating completely new ideas can seem so, well, subjective.
Exactly. And that subjectivity is precisely what we're digging into today.
Hmm.
Our sources cover this really innovative study.
Okay.
They actually set out to make that whole process more objective. They developed specific metrics, instruments, designed purely to assess the quality of clinical research hypotheses.
Okay. So our mission then for this deep dive is really to unpack the how and why behind these new tools.
Mm,
It sounds like they could offer maybe a much needed shortcut, help identify impactful research earlier,
that's the goal.
and maybe make that whole peer review process a bit more consistent too.
Definitely. Consistency is key.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. What was the core problem this study was really trying to solve?
Well, the fundamental issue, it's that generating and evaluating scientific hypotheses in clinical research is absolutely critical, but it's traditionally been, well, quite subjective.
Like judging art, maybe? Hard to put a number on it.
Kinda, yeah. And that subjectivity, it can lead to pretty significant investment, time and money into projects that, look, they might be rigorously done, but they just don't yield the impact we hope for.
Simply because the initial idea, the hypothesis itself, wasn't maybe strong enough or wasn't evaluated robustly from the get-go.
Precisely. So the solution, as this study shows, was to try and develop standardized evaluation metrics, instruments basically.
Okay.
And they actually created two versions. First, there's a brief instrument. It focuses on just three core things:
Hmm.
validity, significance, and feasibility.
The big three.
Right, with 12 specific sub-items under those. Then they developed a more comprehensive instrument.
More detailed, I'm guessing.
Much more. It expands to 10 dimensions, so it adds things like novelty, clinical relevance, ethicality, testability, clarity, even interestingness, across 39 sub-items. And each sub-item, importantly, uses a 5-point Likert scale.
Okay, so from 1 to 5, like strongly disagree to strongly agree.
Exactly that. Standard rating scale.
That sounds incredibly thorough. Two different versions. What kind of process did they go through to make sure these metrics were actually, useful, reliable?
Yeah, it wasn't quick. It was very iterative. Started with a huge literature review, as you'd expect,
Mm-hmm.
then layers of internal validation with their own team.
Hmm.
But the really crucial bit was the external validation.
Bringing in outside experts.
Yes, exactly. Experienced clinical research experts, they got feedback, they actively tested the instruments. It allowed for this kind of continuous refinement.
Okay, and what did those validation experiments actually show? Did it work?
Well, it showed the importance of refinement. Initially, in experiment one, when experts first used the tools,
Hmm.
agreement was pretty low.
Meaning they didn't rate things the same way.
Right. Often didn't agree on the quality of the same hypothesis. The ICC values, the measure of agreement, were often below 0.50, which isn't great.
Okay.
But in experiment two, they made a key change. They calibrated the evaluators first,
How would they do that?
showed them clear examples of hypotheses previously rated as high quality and others rated as low quality,
Right.
sort of set a benchmark. And they also screened the hypotheses first, made sure they were basically valid to begin with.
Oh, okay.
And after that, big improvement. Half of the 10 dimensions in the comprehensive tool then achieved moderate agreement, which is an ICC between 0.50 and 0.75. Much better.
So that calibration, that training really made a difference.
It seemed to, yes.
But, okay, after all that effort, creating two versions, the complex one with 10 dimensions, did it actually end up performing better than the simpler one? Was the extra detail worth it?
This is where it gets really interesting, I think. Surprisingly, no. Yeah, the study found no significant statistical difference between the brief, three-item instrument validity,
Yeah.
significance, feasibility, and the big comprehensive 10-item one.
Wow. So simpler is just as good in this case.
For overall evaluation quality, it seems so,
Mhm.
which is a huge takeaway, right? It means that brief version is potentially a really reliable, practical option for those initial sort of gateway evaluations.
Quick screening.
Exactly. Helps you quickly flag promising ideas without the overhead of the much longer form.
That makes sense.
And they also noted, interestingly, that some dimensions, like ethicality and maybe interestingness, were consistently harder for experts to agree on using that 1 to 5 scale, which suggests maybe those are better suited for just a simple binary yes-no assessment. Is it ethical? Yes, no.
Right. Less room for subjective disagreement. So this isn't just theoretical then. What are the big picture real world implications here?
Well, they could be quite significant. I mean, these validated metrics can genuinely empower clinical researchers. Imagine being able to systematically prioritize your own research ideas early on.
Before sinking huge resources into them.
Exactly. And maybe even more importantly, they offer a standardized, objective tool for the whole peer review process.
Reducing that subjectivity we started with.
Fundamentally reducing it,
Yeah.
evaluating proposals, manuscripts, making it more consistent.
Okay, but there must be caveats. It can't be a magic bullet.
Absolutely not. And the study is very clear on this. A vital caveat is that while these are powerful tools, the researchers strongly encourage pilot evaluations.
Testing them out first.
Yes, and
Yeah.
calibrating them for your specific data set or context before you just apply them universally. It's definitely not a one-test-fits-all kind of scenario. You need to select and validate the items relevant for your specific purpose.
Right, tailor it to the situation.
Mm.
So wrapping up this deep dive, it really highlights how developing these objective metrics brings, well, much needed standardization.
Empirical rigor.
Yeah, rigor to what's usually a very sophisticated but also very internal cognitive process evaluating hypotheses, moving beyond just an educated guess.
Towards a more evidence-based assessment of the idea itself. And if you think about the bigger picture, the provocative thought maybe,
Go on.
consider how these kinds of standardized tools might actually accelerate medical breakthroughs
By picking the winners earlier.
by consistently helping us identify the most impactful, the most feasible research hypotheses right at the start. It could potentially reshape the whole landscape of clinical discovery, making the path to better patient care faster and more efficient.